Hello and welcome back. I am Arumba. Thank you for joining me. We're playing some more Korean Sweet Choson Turtles. I just spent 10,000 ducats on barracks for no reason. We're ahead of time on Miltech by 11 years, and our professionalism did take a pretty big hit in some of the previous wars. We lost about 20% from slackening. We don't need generals, but we're at 99.9 tradition, and I would like to get our professionalism back up anyway. And although we have rolled well, there are some generals that are a little subpar, Mr. Donos. So how about we do this? Let's roll 4 generals right now and keep the best of all of them. So we're going to have that Frenchy guy as general number 1. Also do... I can't possibly type your name, Korean guy. Can I just put Wood 37? Would that be okay? Can I copy paste that Korean stuff into chat? Into the thing? Maybe? Chat, stop talking. I can't find his comment now. Talking too fast. Nope. Nope, it's copy pasting the previous thing that I had. I guess we'll go with your translated name, which I guess is Wood 37. Never mind, I guess you're gonna die. Doesn't actually matter. Mr. De Songa. Pretty okay, not great, but pretty okay. And Rixa 01. Okay, I like the siege pips. At this stage of the game, based on the ridiculous infantry combat ability that we have, and the fact that I'm not scared of enemy armies, I think, Don, you've served your purpose. It's time for us to fire you. You have no maneuvers, so you're not going to help us out in times of peace. And we don't really need you for combat for any of the future wars, so you are unassigned and dead. I care primarily about siege pips, I would say. So, Mr. Unreadable String. Yeah, sure. Unreadable String, dead. It's weird. Dasunga, you're decent enough for combat that maybe we would keep you, but we've got people who are better than that, so unfortunately, we're gonna fire a 4-4-4-2. Sad times. And then one more. Razor 2902. You're not great at combat, decent maneuver, but we got people who are better, and you don't have 4 siege pips. And of the other guy, I would prefer... You know, no, I take it back. I actually would prefer your 4 fire value and 4 maneuver over this guy's shock. So that Frenchy guy, sorry, but you're also dead. He died in like 3 seconds? Yeah, that happens. That happens on occasion. Oh no, Bengal is no longer a valid rival. Shocking. I also had an army up north, right? Did I bring them home? I guess I did. Let's immediately integrate these guys. They do have some more cores and claims and stuff, but that doesn't matter. We should have enough Diplo rep that we can integrate without paying any attention to integration timers. This guy has cores on the Mughals, but I don't really care. I think we integrate him also. Orissa has a couple tiny little cores over here. Delhi would be an easy war. Not that we care, really. I almost kind of want to keep Orissa around, maybe even make him into a march. Just so that he'll siege crap for me and I don't have to pay attention to it. Delhi lets us take the Ceylon clay. We don't need to worry about Delhi because we have imperialism now. Like, we could just go attack Kotte directly, who is allied with Ayutthaya anyway. Looks like Kola Thunad is going to kill him directly. Kola Thunad is allied to Delhi. Yeah. What's the ideal Diplo rep to integrate? The more Diplo rep you have, the faster you integrate. The fact that we have diplomatic influence +2 and Korea imbalance +2 means that even if we take a Diplo rep penalty, we will never go any more. We're not going to go below the point where we can make progress. Finish 1 integration, we'll still have at least 2 per month, which is fine. Still might make sense to try to synchronize them, but whatever. Also, the next parliamentary debate we do is probably going to be create offices for vassal nobles. but we can't do it until 95. Whatever. Nice. Delhi won't even defend him. Poor deck. Let's auto-transport this stack directly on your capital. Mr. 3, thank you for your sub, sir. We're still black flagged. We do have probably some unrest, so let's... I think I'm gonna retrain another suppression stack in Beijing. And the reason I'm doing it in Beijing is just because then mentally I know that like that's its purpose. It's not part of these stacks. But we have some unrest over here, and I want them to suppress it to prevent any kind of rebellions. Yep, we have the turtle achievement. As soon as this thing comes due in 2 years, we'll switch back to something a little bit more proactive, a little better. Wow. Kolathunad actually has a 25 stack. Well done, Kolathunad. It's not going to save him from our 40 stack that's getting landed over here. He does have 17 heavies, but we've got 19. He has an admiral. We could actually just dock up in our tributary or our... Oh hey, our ally. Apparently this is Austria. Let's dock up in our tributaries land. Maybe we can avoid that fight. We go around. I don't want to fight that navy, I just want to dock up. No, they really want to engage us. Can I explain my templates? Yeah, sure. I mean, I've tried to explain them as we've built them and like why I have them. They kind of change all the time based on individual campaigns. Where in the hell is the supply map mode? There. 58 and we have 61. Alright, so let's take a look at the templates. I've got 4. A level 2 template is what I use against level 2 forts. So it's got 10 artillery in the back row to give +5 siege ability, +5 siege status rather, on level 2 forts. 16 infantry because you want to have at least enough troops in the front line to protect your back row. And then I like to go anywhere between 50 to 80% extra infantry above the back row troop count. In this case, 60% extra, so that, say I send this stack off to a level 2 fort somewhere, and then I stop paying attention to it because I get distracted by squirrels and stuff, and some enemy AI will come over and try to kill it for whatever reason, then it will usually not get stack wiped because it's got enough troops to the front row to just fight, and if I notice the bad fight, I can retreat after 12 days. And then after that first bad fight, when it gets caught out, essentially, it will have suffered maybe half of the casualties in the front row. One tick later, one monthly tick later, with 16 infantry, you should be able to recover about 1,600 troops, right? 16 infantry times 100 reinforcements per month means you gain 1,600. So if it has taken casualties down to about half strength, meaning about 8,000, 8,000 plus the 1,600 in reinforcements from 1 month puts it at about 10, which then protects that back row for a second fight. So logically, the way I handle this is, again, I send them off to a level 2 fort, hope that they do their job. Usually they do, but if they do get caught out, I can consolidate or shift consolidate the front row to still protect the back row, and I'll combine 2 or 3 of these into a combat stack, which then has the right ratio of infantry to artillery. That's the idea behind having an extra 60% infantry in the stack. There was a time in the past when I would play and I would just run around with 10-0-10 stacks, and I would constantly find myself in a position where, you know, my composition would look we had like a 10-0-10 stack, and it, same case, same scenario, I just send it off. 10-0-10 stacks are far more likely to get stack wiped than a 16-0-10, and assuming it didn't get stack wiped, now it would have lost like half of its strength before I could make it retreat. Now we've got a 5-0-10, it reinforces maybe to 6, so I end up with a stack that is effectively for combat purposes looking like this, which is, this is exactly what I want to avoid. So I don't do 10-0-10 stacks anymore, not unless I'm exceptionally greedy and know for sure that my armies are never going to be engaged. Like for example, if there's a whole bunch of forts I'm sieging, but then I've got a combat stack ahead of them to block the enemy from even getting near them, then sometimes it's nice to go down to a 10-0-10. In all cases, I would never do a siege without troops in the front row to protect the artillery in the back row. Since artillery take double damage in the front row, and you never know when an enemy might have rebels pop up on you, never ever 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 do sieges with pure artillery. Casualties from just one bad rebel stack is not worth risking it. So I would never go below a 10-0-10. The other templates, this is just an upgraded version for level 4 forts. Same basic concept. It's got 50% instead of 60% extra infantry. It's fine. The logic for me on why it's only 50% increased infantry versus 60% with this is that this stack is not as likely to lose half of its fighting strength in the front row because it's wider. It's not going to get flanked as hard. It's also less likely that the enemy will even engage it because it's closer to combat width. Support stack is just pure infantry. Late game battles, especially in multiplayer, but even in single player, if you're fighting against like the Ottomans or Mughals in this case, and you're trying to actually win battles and stuff, a typical army layout is going to be like a 40-0-40 in the front forward province, maybe like the fort you're trying to siege, and then you'll have a 40 stack of infantry, 40 stack of infantry, 40 stack of infantry, 40 stack of infantry, or whatever the supply limit of the area is. So you might do like 20-20, 20-20, 20, just pure infantry. There's no reason to have all of your armies have artillery because you can only ever use 40 artillery at most at once. So that's why beyond the first like combat stack of a 40-0-40, you just need pure support troops. Just cycle in more and more and more infantry. Okay. Hopefully that helps. Can artillery be both front and back row? Yeah. They'll still take double damage from being in the front row, but they'll also deal twice the damage they would normally deal. Which can be interesting, but ultimately is a meme type strategy. I think Smolensk is who comes to mind for that. How much more territory is there to Tributary? I'm not going to do any more tributaries. We already have mandate. Once we get to 100 mandate, there's no more mechanics for the Empire of China. We're done. Aside from once every 10 years reactivating the decree. I mean, we could make people into tributaries in order to get more annual income and stuff, but I think on average it's actually going to cost us because, as we saw when we had a whole bunch of one province minor tributaries, our income is so high now that the scaled wealth modifier from the random events that affect mandate is absolutely outrageous. Last one we got, I think the cost was like 8,000 plus ducats. Granted, we could just lose mandate now because we don't care about mandate anymore, but what are your thoughts on changes in East Asia? You mean like what we've been doing mostly in this campaign? I think that it's good. A lot of the stuff that they've changed is a positive. I think the Empire of China mechanics are definitely much better now. The idea that you used to just lose mandate because Ming suddenly borders Russia, that was kind of weird. I'm glad they've changed that. What about tributaries to get monarch points? We already have too many monarch points. I'm frequently like 2, sometimes even 3 times per technology just dumping all of my monarch points so that we don't waste them. So why do we need more monarch points? I don't think it's necessary. What region of Europe are the most fun to play in and why? Region of Europe. I like Italy. I just think Italy's a lot of fun. Love the mountain ranges. The tactical stuff you can do with those. Okay, let's regroup this army. We might be able to get across this strait. Those are not his heavies. These are the heavies. If we just go there, let's see if he tries to dock up. If he docks up, that means he thinks that our navy is stronger. And he might just let us cross peacefully, which would be weird, but nice. I actually think his navy is stronger, considering I have no leader. A fort wall in the Alps is the best thing ever. Yeah, if you really want to get the most out of it, you should try Beyond Typus. The Beyond Typus map makes Italy just amazingly fun to play. So many great places for forts, and the terrain is, I think, more historically correct, but I guess I don't really know. I'm not a map person. Well, there's no fort over here, so we can just demand the things we need. We need those two. Let's still check to confirm that's true. We just need these two, yep. Unfortunately, we're not at war with that guy. He's at war with that guy, but he hasn't won the war yet, so that would make us fight Ayutthaya. I assume if we attack Ayutthaya that Kotte will not defend him. We want to do this war to reset the truce with Bengal, and we also want to take land from Ayutthaya. We're waiting on our cores before we get started, though. We gotta wait a little bit longer. Otherwise, they'll get paused. Well, actually, they'd only be paused so long as Bengal's in the war, and we would be blitzing him. The goal is to swoop in, get enough war score to white piece him super fast. I think that if we redispatch like 4 of our stacks, four stacks should be enough to just completely annihilate Bengal within like 6 months to a year in the war. Probably should have just kept the stacks actually on the border because I knew I was going to be doing this. We'll send 2 over to Bengal, plus another 2. And then let's send, I think just 2 on Ayutthaya's border is going to be plenty. Alright. Well, those dispatches are going to take just a couple months to get into position. Considering that Kotte is going to decline the call when we declare war on Ayutthaya, I think we just plan on doing a quick war deck on him while we're also at war with Ayutthaya, instead of waiting for Mr. Kola Thunad to full annex him. Will I march Orissa? It is something I was considering, but let's peace out with this guy, and I'm just gonna take the whole island. I'm gonna take as much as I want, honestly. As long as we're not overextended, I don't really care. Give me all your clay. Your clay now belongs to me. And this is inland, so we can't core it, as is Candy. Whatever, it's fine. Okay, alright, I'm gonna take a short break here. I'll be back in the next episode. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. I've lost track of where these guys were being deployed. Whatever. Alright, see you in the next one. And goodbye.